Selections from Ucluelet by Emily Carr. One day I walked upon a strip of land that belonged to nothing. The sea soaked it often enough to make it unpalatable to the forest. Roots of trees refused to thrive in its saltiness. In this place, belonging neither to sea nor to land, I came upon an old man, dressed in nothing but a brief shirt. He was sawing the limbs from a fallen tree. The swish of the sea tried to drown the purr of his saw. The purr of his saw tried to sneak back into the forest, but the forest threw it out again into the sea. Sea and forest were always at this game of toss with noises. The fallen tree lay crosswise in this nothing's place. It blocked my way. I sat down beside the sawing Indian, and we had dumb talk, pointing to the sun and to the sea, the eagles in the air and the crows on the beach, nodding and laughing together. I sat and he sawed. The old man sawed as if eons of time were before him, and as if all the years behind him had been leisurely, and all the years in front of him would be equally so. There was strength still in his back and limbs, but his teeth were all worn to the gums. The shock of hair that fell to his shoulders was grizzled. Life had sweetened the old man. He was luscious with time, like the end berries of the strawberry season. With a final grin, I got up, patted his arm. "Goodbye." He patted my hand. When he saw me turn to break through the forest so that I could round his great fallen tree, he ran and pulled me back, shaking his head and scolding me. "Swa'awa! Hio swa'awa!" Swa'awa were cougar. The forest was full of these great cats. The Indians forbade their children to go into the forest, not even into its edge. I was to them a child, ignorant about the wild things which they knew so well. No one disturbed the Indian dead. Their place was a small, half-cleared spot a little off from the village and at the edge of the forest. When an Indian died, no time was lost in hurrying the body away. While death was approaching, a box was got ready. Sometimes, if they owned one, a trunk was used. The body did not lie straight and stark in the box. It was folded up. Often it was placed in the box before it was really a corpse. When life had quite gone, the box was closed. Some boards were broken from the side wall of the house, and it was taken away through the hole, which was later mended, so that the spirit should not remember how it got out and come bothering back. The people never went to the dead's place except to carry another dead body there, and then they would hurry back to make dreadful mourning howls in the village. One day I went to the place of the dead to sketch. It was creepy. At first I did not know whether I could bear it or not. Bones lay about, human bones, skulls staring from their eye hollows, stuck out from under the bracken. Ribs and thigh bones lay among the roots of the trees where coffin boxes had split. Many dead boxes were bound to the high branches of the pines. The lower limbs of the trees were chopped away. Sometimes a Hudson's Bay blanket would be bound around a box and flapped in the wind as the tree rocked the box. Up there in the keen air, the body disintegrated quickly. The sun and rain rotted the ropes that bound the box to the tree. They broke, and the bones were flung to the earth, where greenery soon hid them. It was beautiful. How the sea air and sun hurried to help the corpses through their horror. The poor frail boxes could not keep the elements out. They were quick to make the bones clean and white. Sometimes they used the hollow boles of ancient cedar trees as grave holes, though life was still racing through the cedar's outer shell. In one of these hollow trees they had lately buried a young woman. They'd put her in a trunk. There was a scarlet blanket over the top. Scattered upon that were some beads and bracelets. There was a brass lamp and her clothes, too. The sun streamed in through the split in the side of the tree and sparkled on her dear things. This young dead woman lay in the very heart of the living cedar tree. As I stood looking, suddenly twigs crackled and bracken shivered behind me. My throat went dry and my forehead wet, but it was only dogs. Up behind Toxus, the forest climbed a steep hill, and here in the woods was one lonely grave, that of our only professed Christian Indian, according to the missionaries. The missionaries had coffined him tight and carried him up the new-made trail with great difficulty. They put him into the earth among the roots of the trees, away from all his people, away from the rain and the sun and the wind which he had loved, and which would have rushed to help his body melt quickly into the dust, to make earth richer because this man had lived.